Hey guys, welcome to the Tiger Fitness YouTube channel. What am I doing over here? I'm usually on Massive Iron, but here I invaded Tiger Fitness YouTube channel. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the thing on my phone so I can check you guys' questions out better. But I'm gonna be answering some questions for the next 30 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, just come on, send them my way. I'll be happy to respond. And before we get started, all right, here we go. I think I got the live video on here so I can watch the questions a little bit better. All right. Before we get started, just a reminder, it is ice cream sandwich week here at tigerfitness.com. This is a 2-pounder. You can get the 2-pounders and the 5-pounders 20% off this week. And don't forget, real weights for real heroes. We got these sweet shirts in, and all profits from the sale of these shirts go to real weights for real heroes. All right, guys. I made a video about this this morning at Massive Iron, my channel. It's about the fat tax. I want to talk about that a little bit. I had some information come across Facebook about the fat tax, and it was basically somebody was complaining that the cost of large shirts was too much and they were being taxed. What's going on, Robert? That they were being taxed for being large. So I talked to my wife Fiona about it, who makes dresses and things like that for a living, and she was explaining to me all the real reasons, the real world reasons why clothing is so much more expensive for large people. And obviously, number one is the fabric, the amount of fabric involved. And they also have to take the pattern and make the pattern larger, or actually change the pattern so it becomes more flattering for the individual. So outside of that, sometimes they have to use sturdier fabrics, but just the extra fabric and time and the changing of the pattern to fit these large individuals just drives the cost up. So some people in the fitness, or not the fitness community, some people in the internet world, some of the larger individuals are complaining that they're paying a fat tax, which in my opinion is, we all know this is completely ridiculous, because you're just paying more for costs and materials. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Drop me a comment, let me know, drop it below. And you know what, the real fat tax is that, and you're talking to somebody who lost 100 pounds, is the real fat tax is that we have to pay for health care for the large individuals. I mean, if there's really a fat tax, it's for in the healthcare system, where people who take care of themselves have to carry the weight of larger individuals, and that's kind of the way a society works, right? That's the way our system works. So let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, I have about let me just decrease the volume here on my phone. I got about a half an hour to go. If you guys have any questions, shoot it my way. I'd be glad to answer your questions. For those of you guys not familiar with me, I'm the editorial director at tigerfitness.com. I've been in around fitness and lifting since 1986, so that's how old I am. I'm actually 50 years old. And I started out bodybuilding, had a love for bodybuilding, and back in '86 was a golden era of bodybuilding. I really fell in love with Arnold and Tom Platz. Tom was my role model. And it wasn't until like 2007 that I got involved with powerlifting and kind of changed directions. A lot of people look at me as a power lifter right now, but really my love is just for the iron in general and just for general fitness. When I was in powerlifting, I got really, really heavy, and my body weight got up to 346 pounds. I'm 100 pounds lighter than that now. I've lost 100 pounds and got my type 2 diabetes under control, so feel a lot better and a lot healthier. So you guys have any questions, fire them up. I'd be glad to answer your questions. Let's see, Fenway Mark says that's why it's called baby weight. Stop crying, people. Let's see, the Lifting Lutheran says, Steve, what's up, how you doing? I recognize that name. And of course somebody had to come in with an order 66. I'll just pretend like I see that. Hey, Mark's on board. What's going on, Mark? Mark, give me your questions. I'd be glad to help you build body. Let's see. Moha says, "Are you Mark's brother?" No, I'm not Mark's brother. Mark's watching over my shoulder, though. I'm the editorial director here at TigerFitness.com. Mark's at Denny's, and I'm sitting here. I'm doing a little bit of a modified fasting diet, where I'm trying not to eat as much during the day. And let's see. I'm trying not to eat as much during the day, so I'm starving. Anyway, yeah, Mark's sitting at Denny's eating. So no, I'm not his brother. I'm just old enough to be his dad, I think. Pretty close enough. So Mark's on his way to TigerFitness.com. Let's see, Shaky Maximus said, "Hey Steve, just got into stiff leg deadlifts for the first time, loving it. Only using the bar for my form is perfect." Yeah, stiff leg deadlifts, you know, they're an exercise that a lot of people struggle with to get them right. And when you're doing them, you got to concentrate on lowering the bar over your thighs and down your thighs while moving your hips back at the same time. And then when you come back up, driving your hips forward. It's a really simple exercise, but a lot of people don't execute it properly. I like using dumbbells as well. They just feel better for me, just have a more neutral grip and just a little bit easier to, kind of get off the floor. So. What kind of editorials are planned? Fenway Mark says, what kind of editorials are planned? Well, I already published an article today. I publish 1 or 2 articles a day at TigerFitness.com. So there's a lot of editorials planned. I just rolled out an article about natural lifting and if they need to train as hard as enhanced lifting. So that's up at TigerFitness.com. Let's see, the Lifting Lutheran asked, would you compete in powerlifting again? Never say never, right? But honestly, when I was approaching 50, my total was within about 23 pounds of the all-time world record, real world record, not one of these little federation records, a real world record. And I was real close, approaching age 50, to having a legitimate shot at an all-time world record at my weight class, if not easily to be in the top 3. And then I tore a hamstring, which was the first time I tore anything in my life. And not a Castleberry record, because anybody can set a Castleberry record with a little bit of time and effort. But yeah, no, I was pretty close to a world record, and I tore my hamstring. And then a Russian, stupid Russians, the record was held by a U.S. lifter, and then a Russian came in and destroyed it. So, I'm pretty far away from the world record. I might sometimes just compete, for fun, but I just don't have that fire right now. Right now, I'm just concentrating. I'm newlywed, just concentrating on having fun and hiking and staying in good shape and losing a little bit of weight. I'd like to get down to 210 pounds for longevity. See, Chuck Blair says, you guys do a great job. Thanks for what you do. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate it. And, I'd like to do... I have goals. I don't really want to set a powerlifting world record, but I do have goals to smash all the Castleberry world records. So, that's on the to-do list, at the age of 50. Speaking of fake weights, I just put out a video recently about Bill Kazmaier talking about how Tom Platz was using fake weights, and then Nick's Strength and Power, or Power and Strength, I forget which it is. Don't hate me, Nick, but it's way too complicated for an old guy. He put out a video talking about the same subject. It was interesting. Kazmaier in that video talks about how the different plates and different plate sizes and all this kind of stuff, and some of it looked aluminum or whatever, and he's just going off. It was really hard to hear. And then, you know what? I'm like, you look at the video at the end and all the plates look the same. So I don't know, Bill Kazmaier seems a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? A little bit crazy, a little bit bitter. Mark Lobliner, that's that guy right behind me, says, what are you most looking forward to at Real Weights for Real Heroes? What am I most looking forward to? You know what? I'm really looking forward to the boxing match. I'm looking forward to seeing Mark fight. Mark's fighting here locally in Cincinnati on June 30th, I believe. And you know what? It's Beer and Boxing Festival. How, can it be any better than that? So me and Fiona are going to go down to that. But I'm looking forward to that. And you know what I'm really looking forward to? I'm really looking forward to seeing all the people in the fitness industry again. and just connecting and building a community. Because, you know, in fitness and YouTube fitness and in fitness in general, there's so much back and forth. There's so much drama. But you know what I'm looking forward to is just assembling everybody under the same roof, and you know, just building something positive. There's too much negative, too much crap sometimes in the fitness industry. So I'm looking forward to something a little bit more positive. And let's see. Mark says he spoke to Bill in the UK. He's lost his mind a bit. Was talking to himself. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I saw Bill at the Arnold a couple of years ago, and I don't think he knew kind of where he was. Let's see. Shaky Maximus said you and Alan should throw gloves. Alan's a friend of mine, but we don't need to fight. We're too old for that. Martin Martinez. Let's see. It just got hidden on this channel. And let's see. Alex Williams says, ask us on a Facebook page, but your thoughts on nitrates versus citrulline as a main ingredient in pre-workouts. You know, that's not my wheelhouse. And one thing I will tell you is that, you know, this is something I've actually talked about with Alan Roberts called stay in your lane. I don't try to discuss things I'm not an expert at. I edit a lot of articles on supplements. That's really not my forte. That's something Mark is better off answering, or even Robert. So if somebody asks that question on Facebook, just tag me in it and I'll make sure somebody answers so you can get the best answer possible, because it ain't gonna come from the big hairy ugly dude. Steve Walsh says, is Jerry Ward attending real weights? No, Jerry is not attending real weights that I'm aware of. But I would like to extend an invitation for Jerry Ward to be my sidekick, because Jerry Ward mentioned in his live video that I was Mark Lobleiner's sidekick. And you know what? I'm not Mark's sidekick. Mark's not my sidekick. We work together at tigerfitness.com. And, you know, Jerry has this perception that somehow because my channel is smaller, that I fit into a sidekick role. But, you know, if you're using that logic, if Jerry Ward would go over to Social Blade and look at his channel growth and his channel subscribers, he would see the Massive Iron channel is growing consistently, as is the Tiger Fitness channel and Mark's channel, and that his is shrinking. So if anything, Jerry Ward should probably be my sidekick. Thanks, Jerry. Anyway, moving on from all that nonsense. Let's see. Let me backtrack a little bit. Mark says boxing is a huge commitment and I wouldn't recommend it for most. No, and you know what? I thought about actually trying a little jiu-jitsu because I did a little wrestling when I was younger in high school, but that would be a huge commitment, and I'm just not sure I'm ready for that. Andrew Ryan says, hey Steve, do you find fasting helps with more overall health, or are you using it to cut down on meal frequency? That's a very good question. I practiced fasting and then modified fasting for 7 years. I hate to use modified fasting because it ticks people off, because they're like, well, real fasting is this, and you can't have protein powder when you're fasting. I'm like, yeah, I get that. I understand what real fasting is. And I'm not trying to put off modified fasting as being in a state of fasting. It's just I modified a fasting diet. And I have protein in the underfeeding window so I can retain more muscle. Oh, look at that. We got veins coming out. That's because I'm in Mark's office. But, you know, I practiced modified fasting for 7 years. I'd eat about 500 calories during the underfeeding period, and then the rest of my calories at night. And it worked well. It worked really well. I could eat a lot of food at night, and you know, I had no complaints with it. But as I lost weight and started to put on more muscle mass, and now that I'm about 15 pounds more muscle mass than I was 4 years ago, my metabolism is way up, and I need to eat 3,000 calories a day just to maintain my weight. And I just can't do that as an old dude. I'm 50. I can't do that as an old dude with fasting or modified fasting, because you can't eat 500 calories in the morning and then eat a 2,500 calorie meal when you're an old AF son of a gun like me. It's just too many calories at night, so I had to go back to more frequent meals, not for any bro BS, but just so I could get in my daily calories each day and not lose weight. But you know, fasting itself, you get used to it. You really do. And when I was in some of my strongest years, I only ate 300 to 500 calories during the day, and then I'd go crush like a 630-pound daily squat or 730-pound deadlift. So you get used to it. It's not for everybody, obviously, but you know, it's good for guys and girls that like to eat more at night, and you know, they maybe don't want to feel as foggy during the day. So it's definitely something you can test out. All right, let me backtrack. Mark's my side chick, and we're just bullies and mean. We're just bullies and meanies. Trevor says aloha, aloha, Trevor. And let's see, Jerry Raven. Jerry's just jealous because he doesn't have a Steve at his side. You know what? Honestly, the first two times I met Jerry, I don't even think he knew who I was. You know, Jerry is interesting guy. I'm not in this business. I don't want to sit and put people down, but you know, as a man, just as a man to man, not YouTube personality or any of that kind of nonsense. That stuff aside, but as a man, if somebody doesn't recognize you or take time to get to know you, you know, I don't really want that person in my life. And that's always the impression I had with him. The first time I met him at the Arnold, he was scratching his head to try to figure out who I was. And, you know, hey, it's just what it is. If you can't remember who I am, I'm not going to give you my time. So enough said on that subject. John Snow says, what is your opinion on intra-workout carbs and their importance for someone not worried about cost? Would they be worth it? If you're not worried about cost, I mean, how long are you working out, really? I mean, how long are you working out? You know, I don't know too many guys that do any intra-workout carbs. Sometimes, you know, like when I'm feeling toast or my energy's drained, I'll pop a bite from a protein bar just to get some carbs in there. But, you know, I don't know enough about the subject. I just know, like, common sense. If I'm just dying and feeling drained or my blood sugar's a little bit wonky, I'll take a little bit. But, you know, I'll let Mark answer that question. So you might be better off going to the Facebook group and posting up that question. Mark is the expert on that. I'm just a meathead that can answer a lot of questions about working out. Thanks, Steve. Let's see. Trevor says, I use a weight gainer to maintain 3,000 calories. When I cut down, should I cut out the shake or the food? Shake is very helpful. You know, it all comes down to protein intake, really, and calorie intake. I like shakes, and I'm drinking one right now. This is apple pie up in here. That's one of my favorites. But I like shakes because I like to get in 180 grams of protein minimum a day, and popping a couple shakes, you know, gives me 50 to 54 grams of protein. But do you have to cut out shakes? No, just do what's convenient. I mean, a shake really has such a small amount of calories compared to your overall macros. So if you're maintaining at 3,000 a day and you want to cut a little bit and say go to 2,500 calories a day, a couple of shakes are only 300 calories, and they help you get in your protein without adding a lot of carbs, a negligible amount of carbs or fat, just a minimal amount of carbs or fats. So it leaves like 2,200, 2,100 calories for the rest of your day to come from whole foods, and that's a pretty substantial amount. So I like leaving a couple shakes in each day. Hello from Greece. Great to see we got Greece up on here. Let's see. The Lifting Lutheran says, why is the sumo stance for deadlifting considered cheating? Anybody that considers any exercise cheating has a slight mental disorder. Exercise is just exercise. If you want, like, if you enjoy walking, go walk. If you enjoy hiking, go hike. But running isn't cheating because you don't enjoy walking or hiking. I mean, it is what it is. Look, the sumo deadlift, let's set something straight. The sumo deadlift is not cheating. You're talking to a guy that almost got to an 800-pound deadlift when I was a big fatty. And my sumo deadlift sucked. And I worked it for a year, and I could never get good at it. So it all comes down to goals. It all comes down to goals. I mean, if you're in bodybuilding, you want to use the exercises that work the specific body parts. So there is no cheating. You're going to use any tool you want in bodybuilding to achieve the physique you want. So there's no cheating. In powerlifting, the goal of the deadlift is to get the bar off the floor and stand upright. There's no rules on how to do that. Oh, there's minimal rules on what you can or can't do, but foot width doesn't come into play. There's a lot of strong men that don't pull sumo. Just look at the world's strongest man and the guys doing these crazy deadlifts above 900 pounds. So no, it's not cheating. There's just a bunch of knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? All right. Keep the questions coming, guys. I got at least 10 minutes. Derek Centenio. Love your Instagram, Steve. Motivates me every time you post. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to keep my Instagram interesting. You know, I try to get some transformation stuff up and some hiking stuff up. I haven't been hardcore in the gym this year. We're going, but I haven't really been doing a lot of you know, crazy shenanigans. So it's hard to get a lot of lifting stuff up, but still lifting, just not as hard, just not as heavy as I used to. Let's see. Let me just remove this comment from the troll. All right. Nice try, trolls. Gotta try harder. Trevor Bonilla says, which is better for a cut? Low-fat diet or low-carb diet? Well, you know what, Trevor? Here's what I will say. You don't want to go low-fat. That's not a healthy approach, whether you're bulking or cutting. The body needs fats. It needs a reasonable amount of fat intake to maintain your organs and your brain, and so you don't, you know, so you don't break down vital systems and organs of the body. You need fat. So never, never, I don't recommend low fat for anybody for any reason, unless there's some kind of a health issue that commands that they eat lower fat for whatever reason. Don't go low fat. I always tell folks, keep your fats between 25 to 30%. That's just a general guideline. That's not a rule. You could probably go as low as 20%, though, you know, 25%, 30% is kind of a sweet spot. Get your calories in. You got to get your protein in. You got to keep your fat steady. You got to keep your protein steady. So the really only variable you can adjust to any great degree during a cut is your carbs. So obviously carb manipulation or decreasing of carbs is going to make most sense during a cut. Now, if you want to go really low carb, hey, go right ahead. If your body handles it, you're just going to have to jack up your protein and fat intake. And you know what? If you like eating meat and you like eating avocado and all that kind of good stuff, it's probably not a bad way to go. So that's the bottom line. All right. Let's see. Boss Ross Sarah says, where is Mark Lobliner? He's right there over my shoulder. He's my guardian angel. Mark's driving into Tiger Fitness from Illinois, so that's where Mark is. He's in the car. George P says, best way to increase bench from 275 to 315, struggling to get to that number. George, what I'm about to say, you're not going to want to hear, but it's a God's honest truth. The best way to increase your bench is to be patient for 2 to 3 years. It really is. Once you get to 275 on bench, it's going to be a grind to add every 5 pounds. It's going to be a grind. I put together a lot of tips over at tigerfitness.com about increasing your bench. Many bench press articles. You can check it out by Googling Steve Shaw Bench Press, Steve Shaw Bench Press, tigerfitness.com. The best way to increase your bench press, number one, you got to make sure your calorie intake is decent. Because if your calorie intake is inconsistent or not decent, in my opinion, the bench press struggles the most. I would also recommend doing a bench-centric workout twice a week. Maybe benches one day where you're doing 3 to 5 rep sets and you're focusing on the bench. And then the next day you're focusing on like dumbbell bench press and close grip bench press. So to have 2 bench press days a week where you're doing different variations, not straight bar both days. You're doing the bench press and then you're doing some tricep assistance exercises. And make sure you get some shoulder work in there, because if you want to beef up your bench press, you need strong shoulders. I recommend every lifter that wants a big bench press do 2 compound shoulder movements a week. A barbell variation and a dumbbell variation. They can be behind the neck, they can be seated, they can be standing, they can military press, they can be Arnold press. I don't give a darn, but that's a good way to increase your bench press as well. Get your shoulders as strong as possible. I hope that helped a little bit. Let's see. Robert Chinetsky. Robert, your name just gives me fits. I won't even lie. Robert says, bingo, plus a recent study showed no difference in weight gain of a low carb versus low fat diet. Right. It all comes to calories in versus calories out for the most part. And, you know, there's no good reason to go low fat. So that's the bottom line. All right. We got about 5 minutes left, guys. Let's see. Vinny Bone says, should I eat more carbs after my workout, or does it matter? Well, you have to look at your diet as a whole and what you can fit in. listen to your body. A lot of people like to get all worked up about post-workout nutrition. You have some people will be like, it's not any big deal, and then they'll get so crazy that they'll just avoid eating a post-workout meal just to prove some dogma that it's not required to build muscle. And then you get the other side of the camp who'll be so obsessed with post-workout nutrition that they think if they miss a meal or don't time it perfectly, that they're losing all their gains. Both sides are a little wackadoo. Don't go to extremes. Just use some common sense. What do you feel like eating? Okay, you want to get some protein in, because protein is the muscle building process, repair, recovery, protein, protein, protein. I always found that protein and a simple carb source immediate after lifting was the most satisfying and what I craved. And because I was craving it, that's what I ate. Sometimes it would be a whey shake and a banana. Sometimes it would be 32 when I was a young guy and could eat a lot more calories. It was 32 ounces of chocolate milk and a cherry pie. Can you believe that? But you know what? I didn't have protein shakes back then, so I had to get in my protein, but from the chocolate milk. But there's a lot of simple sugars in the chocolate milk as well. But listen to your body. Listen to your body. But I would recommend protein and a simple carb source at least post-workout. Check out Carb 10 here at tigerfitness.com. That is a wonderful product for anybody interested in carbotrons post-workout. All right, what we got here? Let's see. If I miss your question, just post it up. Steve Walsh, Steve, I'm pretty close to your age. Train 4 to 5 days a week, heavy as much as I can. Do you believe at our age it would be better taking a whole week off every few months? I don't like scheduling weeks off because I don't like missing the gym. And I just don't like arbitrarily scheduling time off from the gym. I don't like to arbitrarily schedule deloads. It's probably good to take a couple weeks off during the year just to let stuff heal. But I like to just listen to my body. I like to save time off for when I'm sick. When you're sick, hey, why would you schedule a week off and then the next week you get sick? I like to save my time away from the gym when I get sick, or if I'm feeling really run down, I'll just take an extra day or two off from the gym, go have some fun. So that's the way I like to approach it. Save my sick time away from the gym my time away from the gym when I'm actually sick, and then just add an extra day or two of rest when I need a mental or physical break. I think that makes the most sense. So tell me what you guys think. Let's see. We got a lot of questions coming in. I'm trying to hang tough. Let's see. Pull-ups or pull-downs, and why? If you can do pull-ups, I would do pull-ups. Because they're a hard lift for a lot of guys to master. So if you can do pull-ups, I would definitely keep doing them. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I was young is that I sucked at pull-ups, but I didn't keep working at them over the years. So I would master the pull-ups, and then if you need pull-downs after that for volume or whatever, go right ahead. Let's see here. Let's see. Hey, Steve. Ryan Dooley says, wanted to reach out and say thanks again for the help a couple weeks ago in determining my caloric intake. You bet. I'm glad I could be of some help. And thanks for supporting Tiger Fitness. Let's see. Yep, Mark answered. Hurley was asking, why does Tiger Fitness charge $3.59 shipping for a sample? Because that's what it costs to ship. I mean, if you just want to order a sample, that's what it's going to cost to ship. We can't give out free shipping for a product that is extremely inexpensive. The samples we put together are extremely inexpensive, and we did so because a lot of folks wanted to try a single serve, but we can't chop shipping just because somebody decides that that's all they want to do is buy one sample. So I apologize, but that's just economics, and we try to open doors for our customers so they can sample our products. So that's about all I got on that. And let's see, Trevor Bonilla says MTS Whey ice cream sandwich is so good. It's ice cream sandwich week. Just a reminder, if you buy it this week, 20% off the 2 or 5 pounds. This is one of my favorite flavors. When this came in, I sampled it. I'm like, dang, that tastes just like an ice cream sandwich. So the flavor is legit. It's a great week to try it. If you have not tried ice cream sandwich, head over to Tiger Fitness now. 20% off the 2 and 5 pounders. Stock up. You will not regret it. I guarantee it. Crazy Light says how to maintain muscle mass during a cut. Well, the first thing you want to do is keep your protein intake relatively high. Second thing you want to do is continue to train hard. You might need to pull back your volume 10 to 20%, volume of sets or whatever, but you want to continue to push in the gym. So you want to keep your protein intake relatively high. You want to keep pushing in the gym. And the last piece of advice I have is don't go into a crazy cut. Don't go from 3,000 calorie maintenance down to like 2,000 calories a day. Dial down your calories slowly until you're only losing 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week. Generally, that's a good place to be for most individuals. So slow, control weight loss, lift hard in the gym, and get your protein intake in. Let's see here. Let's see. Ryan, I heard you say you recommend keeping fats around 25 to 30% of your intake. What are your recommendations on where carbs and protein should be percentage-wise? I don't do recommendations on percentages for carbs and protein. So if you think about it, we got 3 macronutrients. We got carbs, we got fats, and we got protein. Your protein level, you have to keep pretty steady no matter where you're at. There's, some people will say for men, 150 gram minimum. I like protein. I like to keep it higher, and I like to keep my diet more balanced. I don't like to just stay at 150 grams of protein because it forces me to eat more carbs. I just like to keep it balanced. So I like to eat more protein because meat tastes good and eggs taste good, and so even though the minimum protein level is 150 for guys or whatever it is, around that range, I like to keep it 180 to 200 because meat tastes good. You know what I'm saying? So we got protein's going to be the same whether you're at 150 or 180 or 200 grams a day. Your fats are going to be 20 to 25 to 30% of your intake. That's going to be consistent. The only variable left over when you're bulking or cutting is going to be carbs. So don't worry about percentages of protein. That you want to keep at around grams. You don't do a percentage count on protein. Protein, keep it a certain amount of grams, figure out how many calories you're intaking, get your percentage from fats, and the rest of your calories come from carbohydrates. Really as simple as that. Let's see here. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Angel Reyes says intermittent fasting for gains. This is something I've written about a lot, and it's not a topic. It's a topic that can get very heated. So I like to approach it with a degree of reason. Back when I first come across fasting, it was when Ori Hofmeckler came out with the Warrior Diet. And Ori recommended for lifters that we eat a little bit more protein during the day just to help with muscle mass. I ran intermittent fasting with just as is for a long time, and I saw a decrease. I saw a decrease in muscle mass. Don't hate me, but that's what I saw. I saw a decrease in about 5 pounds of mass. And I was a lifter for 20 years before I tried that. So it was unusual for me to see my mass dip down. But it dipped down over the course of about a year. When I introduced about 500 calories of protein, 300 to 500 calories of protein during the day, and this isn't strict fasting, but that worked. So if you are willing to give this a try, in my opinion, it's a better option than straight intermittent fasting. And that's in my opinion, of course. Estes says brown rice or white rice. White rice is cheap. It's cheap, but it is not as micronutrient dense as brown rice. So if you need a cheap carb source and you won't need to save a couple bucks, then go with white rice. If you don't mind, if you want a little bit more micronutrients, go with brown rice and spend a few extra dollars. That's what I got to say about that. Let's see, Fitness253 says cheap dessert, ice cream sandwich, sludge, Oreo pieces. Yep, you can do a lot of things with sludge. I like putting fruit in there, strawberries in there, all kinds of good stuff. Mix a little Greek yogurt in there too with some sludge. If you need a few more calories before bed, you take your sludge and your Greek yogurt and some fruits and all kinds of goodness, and you are good to go. Todd Barnes says, BHUD, that's me, the big, hairy, ugly dude. Just got on. Can you give us a rundown on how you use things like hiking as cardio? Here's the thing I found out about hiking. I'm an avid hiker. I hike 8 to 10 miles a weekend. And this is why I like hiking, okay? Because we're not talking about hiking just walking on some flat ground, all right? When you hike and you're going up and down big descents and the terrain is unstable, you burn like twice as many calories as if you're just walking straight. So if I go out and do an 8-mile hike, I'm burning like 2,000 to 2,500 calories, a weekend. That's a lot of exercise. It negates the need for steady state cardio, obviously. It keeps your heart rate up. It can function as a form of HIIT, because when you're going uphill for like extended periods of time, your heart rate really gets elevated. It's not strictly like HIIT, obviously. And you know what? There's other benefits to being out in the sun. Vitamin D production, obviously the sun, exposure to sunlight. And there's so much research about the correlation with being in nature and being in the sun and being outdoors and mental health and fighting off depression and anxiety and clearing our brains. It's just overall, in my opinion, there is not a better form of cardio for the average individual in our world that is just connected to a TV, eating junk food, doesn't want to grind it out on a treadmill. Get off the damn treadmill, go out and get some sun, even if you're just walking around your block. That's my opinion. Let's see, almost done here, guys. I'm going to try to answer a few more questions and drop off. Robert Shanetsky, he is a writer here at Tiger Fitness, says, favorite energy drink, Bang, Monster, Rockstar. Bang, I love Bang. Bang is literally like Bang. It is a Bang. I love Bang, but I can't drink a lot of Bangs. We sell Bang here at Tiger Fitness. If you've not tried it, try it. It's an excellent energy drink. On the weekends, Monsters. And one thing I drink here a lot too is my own ghetto energy drink. Well, I'll take some BCAAs, I'll put them up in the shaker, and then I'll put a scoop of pre-workout. And it's kind of like we get some flavor, we get some BCAAs, we get some energy, we get a lot of good stuff in there, and it's a little bit less expensive and harsh than an energy drink. So I do that a lot too. Let's see, what's your thoughts on no rest days, doing cardio HIIT and low intensity on them? If you want to do cardio or whatever on your rest day is fine. Stay active. Just avoid extremes for the sake of doing extremes. Some people want to do extreme volume in their training just for the sake of doing extreme volume. Some people want to do extreme cardio every day. One thing you got to understand about exercise is that it is usually the folks that push things too much, too frequently, that are going to get overuse injuries. Running, people see running as bad, but if you only run a mile or two a day, 3 times a week, you're not really killing yourself as hard as a guy trying to do 8 to 10 miles 5 times a week. Overusing volume, you can get away with it when you're younger, but as you get older, it's going to punish your body. So everything in moderation, and there'll be periods where you'll go harder, but yeah, you can train frequently. Just don't kill yourself to the point of overuse. All right, I'm going to do one more question. Adam said, any tips to increase your bench press? I re-listened to the video, Adam. I mentioned a few things earlier. Estes said, can running build legs? No, running can't build legs. You're going to need a good leg workout. I was a runner for 14 years, and you're not going to build big legs just from running. The stimulus from running, it doesn't require big legs to run, so the body's going to respond and adapt in very specific ways. Let's see, I'm going to hide that user. And let's see, last question. You bet, Estes. Last question, I'm going to jump off. Should you include a lot of cardio during cut? No, you don't need to do a lot. You don't need to do any cardio during cuts. Here's the way you need to look at lifting and exercise. Resistance training for appearance, resistance training for quality of life, to be able to lift things and keep a strong lower back. Cardio is for like heart health. Even though resistance training does good things for your health markers and your longevity, cardio is really good for heart health and overall health. So cardio doesn't burn a lot of calories unless you're doing a lot of an extreme amount of cardio. And you know what? It's easier. If you're in a calorie deficit, you can lose 8 to 10 pounds a month by just being in a slight calorie deficit. To get to that level with cardio, you're gonna have to do a lot of cardio. You know what I'm saying? So diet is 80 to 90% of weight loss. Cardio is just icing on the cake. Don't obsess. Don't do a lot of cardio during a cut. It's just really a waste of time. Cut with your diet. All right, guys, that's it for the Tiger Fitness Live. Just a reminder, it is Ice Cream Sandwich Week. Ice Cream Sandwich Way. The 2 and 5 pounders are 20% off. This is, in my opinion, the best flavor we offer in MTS Way. Come on over to Tiger Fitness, try that. And I want to remind you guys one more thing. Real weights for real heroes. Real weights for real heroes. The t-shirts are available at tigerfitness.com, and they're $13.99. And all profits from these shirts go to Real Weights for Real Heroes. So if you can't make it to Real Weights for Real Heroes, get yourself a shirt. You know what? It looks good. I love these shirts. It's one of my favorite shirts that we put on. It looks stylish as heck. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting tigerfitness.com. Have a great day.